Samuel Wan, a pipa player, and Ji Wei co-founded the Teng Company, a non-profit arts group. 7 years ago, they went in search of Mr. Yu Haojian, who started the first Chinese orchestra in Singapore in the 1950s. What they discovered as a result was a community of musicians hidden away in Singapore's dialect associations. This led to the beginning of the FOREFATHERS project, which attempts to shed light on the music of Singapore's early Chinese migrants. CT10's Meryl Liu met up with some of these people who are instrumental to the project.
There's this very weird paradigm that they think that Chinese opera is related to low class, it's related to funerals, it's related to my grandmother's generation or grandfather's generation.
Outdated lah.
Yeah, very outdated to them. So it's very, very hard for us to really attract new people. I just didn't feel part of my identity when I was younger. It's just some place that my mom and her friends like to do, and I just go along. I was not even thinking about how was my parents' childhood like until I started talking to all these people, and they were telling me about how they really enjoyed Teochew opera, Teochew music when they were young. So I thought that was the part that really attracted me to find out more, to help them.
I was very happy that she started to show interest. Since then, I started teaching her Teochew dialect and Teochew opera. She couldn't sing the opera, but she has mastered the dialect.
I did the marketing for 10 over years. There wasn't much result. Okay, there was a lot of historians who came to know. There were a lot of photographers who came into, oh, I want to take picture of these colorful painting and all that stuff. But it never really resulted in anybody coming to learn our opera or music. Until one day, Teng called me, and then they say they want to learn from Mr. Yu.
Through him, I found out a whole entire underground group of musicians. They were musicians from Hakka, Teochew, Cantonese, Hainanese, and even the Hokkien dialect groups. So each of the dialect groups in Singapore has its own music and has its own form of genres of music. And I thought that, a lot of them actually had a problem with preservation in such musics because they were not able to communicate this music to a younger generation. And the younger generation basically had sort of like a bias. They didn't feel that such music was interesting or applicable or any part of their life. And so because of that, I started the FOREFATHERS project, and it took us about 4 years of research before we actually turned it into a concert. And then we created research about it, we created an album, and we created new work that was inspired by such dialect music in Singapore.
This type of modernization of arts needs to be done with real knowledge of the art. They could really spend the time to learn and understand our music form, and from there create their own form of music. That is what I call a true respect for the traditional music form.
I really felt that we've given new life to a very ancient art form and ancient type of music. Because a lot of people who came for the concerts told us that they didn't expect, these instruments to sound so beautiful. What we hoped to do was to do a different take on them so that people would notice these instruments and give a lower barrier to entry for people to listen and to say, hey, without Teng, I would never even know that there is a Teochew pipa.
I found that our Singaporean Chinese forefathers actually took Chinese music from their homelands. And when they came to Singapore, they readapted it and created new versions of dialect music. They either wrote new songs, they sometimes even invented instruments. Some of them even actually changed the material in which they use for the instruments. For example, the Teochew pipa, its strings are actually made of fishing wire. Whereas in China, they will actually use things like silk. As a result, the tone that actually came out is very different as well. I knew about Chinese music, but I did not know very much about dialect music in Singapore and its trajectory, which was very different from that of China. And so while researching it, it was also a way of researching myself and giving myself a better sense of an identity as well, and what it means to be Singaporean. But what I hope is that Tung actually has broke some ground, and that we have shown that it's possible to innovate with dialect music, and it's possible to gain an audience as well, that other people will be empowered to do the same.